SMU won the first meeting back in Dallas on December 7th. The opening tip is controlled by Virginia in their home white, and we're underway here at JPJ. Changing the starting five for Virginia. Day Ames is back in the starting lineup. Saunders tries it from the outside, can't get it. And here comes SMU. Boopie Miller runs the show with the point. They go with a small lineup. Second time they've used this in a row. Worked well for them last time against Georgia Tech with B.J. Edwards, Chuck Harris, Samet Yigitolu, and Matt Cross.
Well, look, the first time Virginia and SMU played, actually Virginia had the lead, was playing really well, and then Day, their point guard, ended up getting hurt, and SMU really extended the defense, and they just ended up taking control of the game because Virginia struggled on the point guard play. And then Samet, the last time they played, kicked Virginia's butt inside, and you can see them starting off again to establish interior presence in that first possession right there for SMU.
Isaac McNeely leading the team in scoring for Virginia, 12 points a game. Here he is, kicks it to the corner, open three as Virginia looks for their first points. Off the mark from Jacob Kofi, the freshman. And off the miss, you can see how quickly SMU gets into the front court, and Chuck Harris was fouled.
Again, the first time, because these two teams have already played a few weeks ago, and what happened the first game, Kofi and Saunders had a poor game against SMU's interior, and Samet had a big game. They really played through to him. And so for Virginia to have success tonight, Kofi and Saunders on the interior by committee has to play well. They've got to put up really good numbers. And right there you can see the transition by SMU, how fast they go. The emphasis for Virginia is to really get back and build that wall in transition defense to force SMU to have to play in the half court.
I can see where you're going with this as well as Miller's foul. You're going with just Samet and making me go with Yigitolu, right? That's how we're working together?
You're the pro. I'm still new at this.
Samet it is. There is the 7'2" freshman from Istanbul who had 16 points and 16 boards, as Josh referenced, in that win on December 7th in Dallas. Here's Edwards. Harris launches for three. Chuck Harris getting his second start of the season, went for a team-high 21 in the win against Georgia Tech last time out.
One of the things about SMU that probably doesn't get enough credit for how they're playing this year, as part of it is their balance of their scoring. They've literally got 5 guys almost in double figures, so you have to guard multiple guys on the floor, and that's what makes them so dangerous.
McNeely, unlimited range. Can't knock it down, and Cross, excellent rebounder, leading the team in that category. Pulls it down and starts things the other way. McNeely gets whistled for the foul.
Eric, you can see on the miss three-point shooting how quick SMU rebounds, and they don't dribble. They move that pass up ahead. The ball moves so much faster with the pass ahead, and that puts so much pressure on Virginia's transition defense.
Virginia forces a turnover and a foul given by SMU's Harris as Kofi took it away. SMU takes good care of the basketball, 11 turnovers a game. And they will turn you over and score off those turnovers. Big part of their offense.
That's been an issue for Virginia this year. That's one of the things that historically in Tony Bennett's time, they've never had an issue turning it over. But unfortunately this year, because of some issues with point guard play, injuries to Day, they're trying to find point guard time out of committee at times. And they struggled at times with turning it over. But right there, it's a big-time shot for Day to get him on the board.
So Ames back in the starting lineup. We talked to Ron Sanchez about that, wants him out there for his defense, but also he's a guy who can create offensively, and a foul as Yigitolu will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. What is the Ames difference for Virginia here tonight?
Well, as you can see right here, he's their best guy at creating his own shot off the bounce. He doesn't need screens. Now there you got a pick and roll, but he can beat the defender off the dribble, off of 1 or 2 dribbles into the paint. He can also get into the paint to create for guys like McNeely to get him 3-point shots. So he's a key cog for Virginia. But again, Eric, you can see them trying to establish inside presence and really playing inside to go against Virginia's interior defense, because that was such a successful weapon they had the first time they played, with Samet just going through him, and he really gave it to Virginia's bigs the last time they played. They didn't get any production from Kofi and Saunders that first time.
Empty trip off the 2 missed free throws, and here comes Rhodey. Rhodey was dealing with an illness last time out. Virginia had the West Coast trip to Cal, and Stanford went 0-2 on the trip. Rhodey played just about 5 minutes in the second half against Stanford. Dealing with nausea. Rhodey. Ames catches it. Can't get it to go, and the rebound for Harris. Miller shut up by Ames. Good job by Day Ames defensively. Almost thrown away. Harris has it. Virginia digging in defensively. Harris, tough shot and good finish.
That was good defense by Virginia, both transition defense and into the half court. Virginia will have success if they make SMU play with those type of shot attempts right there. They're only going to make so many of those, SMU, but the key was how Virginia played defensively, starting with transition.
Saunders, Buchanan left open on the baseline. Nope. And Cross has the rebound. SMU 12 wins on the season, 3 coming in conference play. They beat Georgia Tech on Saturday in Dallas, 93-71. They led by 31 at halftime, stretched it to 37 in the second half. They had 5 in double figures.
If you notice with SMU's defense, Samet is just playing, they call it drop coverage, Eric, where he plays in the paint on pick and rolls, and he can clog the paint up to use his 7'2" size. And so what Virginia's got to do is try to get him away from the basket as much as possible to not let him be to affect an interior on those drives.
Good start for Ames back in the starting 5 for Virginia. Harris, Saunders came out to challenge, got a piece of it, and Buchanan has it for UVA.
Virginia has settled down from that initial start that I thought SMU had better energy.
Rhodey with the lob to Buchanan.
But again, Eric, for the viewer at home, if you're watching, Samet, he's playing in drop coverage, meaning he's off again in the paint. And so that pick and roll, Day gets in there, McNeely can get in there, Rhodey can get in there. And then what happens is he gets stuck in between land. Because when you play drop coverage, you're trying to force the guy, the ball handler, to have to shoot a mid-range jump shot.
Rhodey was all over Harris, but then Harris turned around, saw the opening, and knocked it down. He has 7.
That's what Miller can do. He can put points on the board in a hurry. He's SMU's leading scorer. Again, right there, you can see how the ball screen crosses up, but Miller, we call it like getting your lead leg over the screen, which he was able to do.
Saunders can't hit the baby hook, and Cross has another rebound. Buchanan had the dunk on one end, gets a block on the other end. Numbers back the other way for Rhodey. McNeely steps into a deep 3. Trying to find the range in the early going. 0 for 2 from the floor, knocked out of bounds.
Denying him the ball, and they had no one who could co-create a shot or get a bucket, and SMU went on one of those big runs and ended up winning the game. Plus, as I mentioned already, the interior, Samet just had his way against Virginia's interior in that game also.
Ishan Sharma, the freshman from Ontario, into the game for the first time. Started last time out against Stanford. Kofi back on the floor. Johan Traor is on for SMU, trying to set the screen for Chuck Harris, who has 7 of the SMU points so far. Buchanan's been active in the early going.
Buchanan's given really good minutes, and if you noticed on Traor there on the catch, out of the timeout, Virginia doubled him. I think that's going to be an adjustment now when the ball goes inside. They use the word red or monster, which is meaning 2 guys to the post double. They're going to start trapping the post man when he catches the ball. I think that's an adjustment that Virginia's made out of that timeout.
Ames playing well back in the starting lineup. He had come off the bench the last 3 games, scored 5 points in 14 minutes against Stanford. He's got 6 already here in the first half. Cario Quendo into the game for SMU, number 8.
Because of the half-court defense, when you get them playing the half-court, Virginia's good. They're hard to score on. You can see the double there coming from big to big on the double.
Good hustle by Sharma, and he was fouled.
Yep.
Foul on SMU, so Sharma making a good play.
I think the adjustment, because they knew, you can see the big-to-big double. That means the other big man comes to double. He had both hands up, which created the deflection. But because of the first time they played and Samet having his way against Virginia, and SMU starting out the game going right into him and him having some success, out of the last timeout, Ron Sanchez said, we've got to now double the post, and that's been a good adjustment for Virginia the last two trips.
Tate Murray on the floor for Virginia. Here he is, number 10, the only senior on this Virginia roster. He was fouled. Cross had just picked up the foul on the other end, and now he just picked up the foul. And he's got two. There's Ron Sanchez, interim head coach. You know the backstory. Took over for Tony Bennett when Bennett retired on October 18th. Tough spot to be put in to take over a program that close to the start of the season.
Look, Coach Ron Sanchez did a really good job at Charlotte. He was the head coach there at Charlotte. It's been a long-time assistant with Tony Bennett, whether it was at Washington State or at Virginia. And he came back here to be his associate head coach, not planning to take over the program. Obviously, Tony Bennett had retired, which surprised everybody. And it's not an easy situation for Coach Sanchez. And he's done a really good job. One of the great people in the profession. He's a very good coach. And he's done a good job with this team. And they've had some tough losses over these last couple, week and a half. But right now they're playing well. And this is you can see the energy they're playing with. That's a credit to Coach Sanchez.
Virginia with their first lead, and a foul is called on Kofi. So Kofi picks up the personal foul. That's his second. He'll have to head to the bench as Elijah Saunders comes back on.
For Virginia, whether it's Kofi, Saunders, Buchanan, again, just by committee, they've got to have good numbers by committee on the glass and scoring the ball. If they can do that, that gives Virginia another a weapon for them to have a chance to win this game.
Here's Miller, fourth in the ACC in assists per game, just under 6. That shot is off the mark from B.J. Edwards, but a second chance here for SMU. Miller, nice little fake, turns around, can't get it. And Buchanan has another rebound, and there's another foul. Suffered a sprained ankle in that first meeting December 7th with SMU, so that knocked him out of the game. Just his third start in ACC play, averaging 9 minutes a game in the ACC. So he's been fine since the ankle healed. It's just been a little bit of change in the rotation for Ron Sanchez, but a change tonight, putting him back in the starting 5, and it's worked out. 7 to shoot for Virginia out of the timeout. Rhodey in trouble. Finds Murray with 1, and a shot from the corner is good from Sharma to beat the clock.
That's what Sharma's in there for, is to catch and shoot and make the 3. And that's what he is. He's a freshman. He's a good-looking prospect from Canada. Going to be a good player, but that's what he does. He's got good size on him as well, too. And again, when they make those shots, it forces SMU to have to play against Virginia's half-court defense.
Here's a Quendo splitting defenders, fouled on the drive with 11:01 to go in the first half.
You can see here late clock, and Murray drew too. See, because Virginia really helps off the ball side, so they're going to plug that ball side. So you have to be able to make threes. And a guy like Sharma, he stretches the floor because that's what he does.
You know he's going to take threes. All but
Absolutely.
6 of his field goal attempts this season, 3-pointers. SMU is in a bit of a funk right now, and that's one way to break the funk. That stops a 7-0 run for Virginia. SMU had missed 6 straight before that Traore dunk.
Again, that's been an Achilles heel for Virginia this year, has been rebounding. And we talked, for them to be successful in this game, they've got to be really good on the glass, both defensively, especially defensively, but also trying to get some extra rebounds on the offensive if they're able to.
That's just the first turnover for Virginia tonight. Miller makes them pay for that first turnover, his first points.
Again, it's a live ball turnover. And when I say a live ball, that means there wasn't a stoppage of play. So it happened in real time, And because of it, it doesn't allow Virginia to get back in their defense, and they're chaotic in their transition defense. You have to avoid live ball turnovers. That's similar to a pick six in football where it goes to a touchdown. They're just, those things can end up demoralize you as a unit.
Rhodey misses the deep three, so here's Miller again. Ooh, beautiful little finish by Boopy Miller with his back to the basket, flips it up, and SMU's back in front.
Some guys like Miller just have that innate ability to score the ball. They just find ways to be able to score. And you can see the pick and roll coverage there. They're doing, Traore's more up on the screen. Miller's getting over the screen, where Cement is playing in drop coverage, and it was easier for Virginia to attack that.
Buchanan kept it alive, so it wasn't another turnover. There's that finish by Boopy.
I love the name, too, by the way. But you see, he plays off of 2 feet. He's really good at playing off of 2 and using his pivot foot. On that particular possession, he went off his right pivot foot there, but he usually comes to 2-foot stops and uses his pivot foot to get an up and under on the defense.
You got a name like Boopy, you got to be able to make shots like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You got to have the confidence to take shots, and you know how to make those shots. McNeely trying to get going on his night so far. An elite shooter, second in the ACC at 44%, but hasn't found the range so far tonight.
They're going to need McNeely to make threes. He's got some good looks. He's just got to put it in the basket.
McNeely 0 for 3 tonight. That one rolls in, and SMU pushing back after that 7-0 run by Virginia. It's an 8-0 run right now for the Mustangs.
This is Virginia now going into kind of the mover blocker, which is one side screening a flare, the other side down screening, which created then for Saunders to get an open shot because of the flare screen that he set. When you set a good screen, the screener's usually the best person to get open for an open shot.
Over the top, off the mark, cleaned up by Robinson. Saunders getting his first points. He was 0 for 6 from the field in the first meeting with SMU. Rhodey can't get that to drop. And the rebound for Keon Ambrose Hilton.
The more Saunders can make shots from the perimeter, it forces SMU's bigs to move away from the basket, which allows guys like Day more room to get into the paint.
Day defending Oquendo. Nice little finish by the senior from Toronto, Keon Ambrose Hilton, averaging 4 points a game, getting his first 2.
Ambrose Hilton has been active in this game so far in this first half. He's been bouncy, he's been playing above the rim, he's kept balls alive on the offensive end. I like his energy. Again, you can see Virginia, they're kind of in that, they call it like the wheel offense in a sense. Baseline screen on one side, flare screen on the other side.
McNeely, you don't say this too often when it comes to IMAC, but he's ice cold from outside the three-point line. 0 for 4 so far. Oquendo. Rebound SMU, second chance opportunity. Miller, no. Fight for the loose ball. McNeely, if you're not going to get the shot to fall, do something else to help your team.
That's absolutely right. You got to get on the floor. You got to win those 50-50 balls. But that's one thing that's been a weakness of Virginia this season has been defensive rebounding.
Haynes with a good feed and the finish by Robinson.
And when SMU is shooting threes, that's a longer shot. So when it's a longer shot, there's a better chance that it's going to be on a miss, that it's going to be a longer rebound. That's why the perimeter guys of Virginia have to get inside to rebound the ball. Again, another double on Cement when the ball went in the post. That's the adjustment that Ron Sanchez made out of that first time out.
Another offensive rebound. That's 5 offensive rebounds now for SMU.
We talked about that is such a huge key, probably the #1 key in this game besides transition defense is being able to rebound the ball for Virginia. Talking to their staff earlier today, Virginia said, hey, you can look at one stat of the box score. Just look at on the glass. Look at the backboards. If we're getting our butts kicked on the backboard, it's going to be hard for us to beat SMU.
One and done, and you know Virginia is not very strong on the offensive glass. They are 351st in Division I out of 355 teams in D1. And the finish inside. And a run now for SMU and stretching it out. 6 points now for the big freshman.
You know,
5-point lead SMU.
When you see Samet in person, the big freshman, as you mentioned, he's big. I mean, and he can move, and he's got good hands, and he's got good
touch.
feet.
Yeah,
yes,
he's got some skills. You can tell.
He's a talent. What a good-looking prospect. You can see again, SMU's in that kind of that baseline screen, flare screen action, which allows Saunders to flare screen out, to pop out after he sets the flare screen.
Knocked away, defense by Rhodey. Long interrupted run here. We're still inside the 8-minute media timeout window, so you can see how long we've been going here without a stoppage for these two teams.
Both of them are breathing heavy and a little gassed, that's for certain. So much to be successful in basketball. It's about cardio conditioning. All about cardio. Got to be in great shape.
Saunders, fourth lead.
Eric, that could be a really good weapon for Virginia because, again, that's Saunders' second three destroyed on the offensive glass. That's been a weakness of Virginia. 5 offensive rebounds already by SMU. Virginia's lucky they're a possession, only 1 possession down based on that stat line.
Cross on the floor for SMU, playing with the 2 fouls. SMU is ice cold from outside the 3-point line. They're now 1 for 10 on threes. They're 10 for 13 on 2s here in the first half.
That's kept them around. That's allowed Virginia to stay around is based on SMU's lack of 3-point shooting right now.
And they're a good 3-point shooting team. 38%, which is second in the ACC.
Again, you can see kind of the blocker moving, the wheel offense. One side low baseline, the other side high flare screen.
Ames open look for 3 and a rebound for SMU. Mustangs by 2, looking for their 4th ACC win. Cross has been out of the flow after picking up a couple of fouls. Here's Miller. Miller, tough shot, won't drop, and they're going to say goaltending. That
Joe Lenardi has them on the second 4 out for the NCAA tournament. So right now, technically, they're on the bubble. And a loss to Virginia can hurt them based on their numbers because Virginia has not the best of numbers based on non-conference play and some of the previous losses in the last week or so.
Rhodey from the corner, nope, and a rebound for Edwards.
The other thing is in the ACC, there's not as many opportunities for quad 1 opportunities because the numbers already baked in based on non-conference play. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes when you're looking at numbers that the committee looks at. Quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. A lot of that happens based on your non-conference wins and losses.
SMU's net 46 entering this week. Saunders rips it away. 2.5 to go in the first half. I look at the scoreboard, 2.5 to go. I say this is exactly where Virginia would want this game.
And we talked about in the opening about the pace of play, the style of play, who's going to impose your will. And right now, this pace of play, the possessions, the length of the possessions favors Virginia. SMU wants to play higher pace, more possessions, faster, quicker shooting within the shot clock. Everything's advantage right now for Virginia.
Foul on Edwards, that's his second, so junior from Knoxville goes to the bench. Buchanan looks for the lob. How about the impact that the sophomore Blake Buchanan's had tonight for this Virginia team?
He's given him a great lift, Eric, a great lift. And that back screen action there out of the base out of bounds, you can steal points. They call it special team situations, base out of bounds basketball. There was a back screen there and a lack of communication by SMU.
McNeely gets fouled trying to get to the loose ball. Foul on SMU.
Going back to that base out of bounds, when there's a back screen, because the guy that's getting back screened doesn't see anything happening, so that if there's not communication, you can see here in the replay, the back screen without communication and talk. Two guys guard the screener, leaves Saunders wide open, and Samet, who was guarding the passer, Buchanan, his hands were down. Samet 7'2", he's got to get his hands up so he can't throw a direct pass like that. No strikes in basketball. It's like a bowling term. No strikes.
McNeely gets on the scoreboard, his first point. Coming up Saturday, ACC Network basketball tripleheader. It starts with Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. That's at 2 Eastern. Then Notre Dame, Syracuse at 4. And then Cal and NC State cap off the day and night Saturday on ACC Network. Virginia back in front.
They start switching the ball screen on Miller. This is where they've started doing an adjustment as well, too.
Okendo takes it down the lane to get his first points. Missed his first 3 field goal attempts. The senior from Florida averaging just under 10 points a game.
You see how quick his first step was, that explosiveness. It wasn't catch and go. It was go and catch. And he got, again, another 2 points in the paint where SMU has dominated Virginia in that category tonight.
Rhodey trying to post up Okendo. Knocked out of bounds by SMU. Virginia ball with 8 to shoot.
Again, another special team situation. 8 on the shot clock here. So they're going to have something quick to get a shot.
Rhodey with 4. Crowd counts it down. Rhodey off balance 3. Front iron. And here comes Boopy. Drops it back. Open 3-pointer. No. Ice cold SMU from outside the 3-point line. They made their first 3-point attempt, but they've missed their last 11.
I think they left it all in Dallas on Saturday versus Georgia Tech. The way they shot the ball against them, they were 80% the first half from 3.
14 of 28 for the game against the Yellow Jackets. Ames throws it back out. Okendo takes it away. 1-on-2. He's not afraid to attack. 1-on-2. Trying to sell a foul. Rhodey and Saunders teaming up, and then Igutolu throws it down. He's got 8.
What we've talked about, Eric, live ball turn.
See one of the best players in the country. Tune in tomorrow night. Doubleheader on the ACC Network. Final seconds, first half. SMU on top by 2. Virginia, final possession. Rhodey with 4. Rhodey for 3. Off the iron, no good, and that will do it.
Especially in transition. Credit to Ron Sanchez and his group for getting back in transition defense, continuing to build the wall, and taking away SMU's fast break points.
SMU usually gets a lot from their bench as well. Just 6 bench points in the first half. They're averaging 31 bench points a game. That's top 30 in the country. So a low-scoring game, much like it was in Dallas on December 7th. SMU won that battle. That's the first miss of the night, but a second chance here for SMU. And they get the first points of the second half. That's Harris.
That's their 6th offensive rebound and their 25th and 26th point in the paint. Again, non-negotiable. I love the word you use, non-negotiable, and that is you've got to rebound the ball. And the Virginia staff talked about that. You can look at that stat is going to be a big deal if they're going to want to win this game.
Here's McNeely. Shot clock at 4. McNeely on the turnaround, still looking for his first field goal. If I told you that Isaac McNeely was 0 for 5 from the field and 0 for 4 from outside the 3-point line, you'd think Virginia was down by 10, 12, 14 points, but they're still in this game. Edwards couldn't get it. Battle for the loose ball. That is the 7'2" Samet Igutolu battling down on the court.
It's a long way for him to go from there onto the floor and then to get back up as well, too.
That's not just one floor in the elevator. That's 2 floors down.
You know, but we talked about it. I've been impressed by his mobility. You know, a lot of times guys at that size, when he's a legit 7'2". Mm-hmm. They don't move it real well. He moves well for his size.
Rhodey. Back for Ames.
You can see in the ball screen coverage, they have now moved Samet up. He's no longer in drop coverage. He's, we call it at the line of scrimmage. But Buchanan Virginia, outstanding minutes, gets on the pop there. Great pass there by Day-Day, finds Buchanan with a nice soft touch for the 2.
4 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist for Blake Buchanan tonight. And the foul's going to be called on Rhodey. That's 2 on Rhodey. Rhodey did not score in the first half. He is 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 4 from outside the three-point line. Now with the 2 fouls. Miller gets it back. He was the one who triggered the inbound. Another offensive rebound for SMU. They've been unable to cash in, though, on those second chance point opportunities.
They've got 7 offensive rebounds, but only 6 points off of those. And that's Virginia's is lucky on that live ball turnover.
Just the 3rd turnover for Virginia, but Miller makes them pay for it. He's got 6, and SMU is on top here in the second half by 4.
Eric, going back to non-negotiables of live ball turnovers, you're better off just falling out of bounds and letting your defense set up and making SMU play against your half-court defense.
McNeely to Kofi for 2. First 2 for Kofi, Josh.
Both Kofi and Buchanan on the screen and rolls. Instead of them rolling to the rim, they short rolled. It's called a short roll, meaning they stop around the 12, 13 foot mark. It's not an all the way roll to the rim. It's a short roll, and that's what they're doing now against SMU's ball screen coverage.
Cross, good catch by Harris. Miller back to Harris. Harris launches. 4-3. Harris hit the first 3 of the game, and then it was 13 straight misses from outside the three-point line for SMU before Harris knocked down that triple. Virginia native with 12 points from Ashburn, about 2 hours north of here. Another turnover, another live ball turnover, and a foul called on Virginia.
A lot of times in a game like this, where SMU's the better team coming in, and you play a good, close first half, the first media timeout, the first 4 or 5 minutes of that second half really can dictate the game. Right now, it's been advantage SMU of them being able to get out in transition based on live ball turnovers. Virginia is getting a little bit of a danger zone right now. They don't want to get this stretched too much.
Tomorrow, 10 Eastern time, after our women's basketball doubleheader, Nothing But Net crew will be in South Bend to break down the night in the ACC. Highlights, analysis of every women's game, and a look ahead to the best matchups for the weekend. We've got you covered all season right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. I'm pretty sure Nothing But Net crew is going to be there at 5:30 to preview the doubleheader live in South Bend tomorrow night. That's how big a night it is tomorrow night. SMU gets a couple of free throws from Edwards. They have their largest lead of the game. They're on top by 6. Virginia's largest lead was 4 in the first half. Ames. Looks like he kept that pivot foot in place just long enough. And a rebound for SMU. 1 and done for Virginia. Miller. And Ames gets whistled.
You turn it over, your margin of error, if you don't overpower over talent teams, really goes down small to a low level.
Yeah, their turnover margin, they're -2, which is 15th in the ACC. Out of the timeout, SMU looks back inside. Buchanan once again being disruptive, and that's going to be a whistle against SMU. Well, I think Blake Buchanan has done a little bit of everything here tonight, all of it positive.
And it maybe doesn't all show up in the box score either. Right. Some of the things that he's doing are plays that are not going to be a stat line deal. It's going to be energy. It's going to be a win of a 50-50 ball. It's going to be sticking his nose in there and making Cement lose the ball. Those type of things. And a great pass by Buchanan to McNeely on the back screen. Again, Buchanan has given them great lift, great energy. Things are not showing up on the back score, and a great cut by McNeely. Player movement and ball movement.
Harris back off for Miller. Miller makes the extra pass, and he gets flushes it down. 10 points now for Cement.
One of the deals for Virginia, if you want to be effective in the pack line defense, which they play, is you've got to keep the ball in front of you. You've got to guard the ball. You cannot get beaten off that bounce on the first dribble. That's a no-no in that pack line defense that was started by Dick Bennett and then made famous by obviously Tony Bennett after that.
Tough pass for Buchanan to handle. It's a turnover. That's the third turnover of the second half for Virginia. 5 for the game.
Yeah, I mean, again, the turnovers, but you can, no turnovers are good. Great move there by Miller, missed it. But Eric, no turnovers are good. Nobody wants turnovers, but if you're going to have one, you're better off having that type of turnover where it's a dead ball, where Virginia can get back and build their walls, set their defense up, and make SMU have to play against their half-court defense.
Brody defended by Harris. 6 minutes gone by in the second half. Brody, and a foul's going to be called on Buchanan. That's his first.
There hasn't been a lot of fouls called in this game. The referees have let him, the officials have done a nice job and let the flow happen. Usually when Virginia plays, they don't foul a lot.
Not a lot of fouls in a Virginia game.
Not a lot of fouls, so credit to the officials on letting the flow of the game going. But SMU's up 6. I said it about a minute or two ago. This is a little bit of a danger zone for Virginia because they're not a team that's a pressing type of team. If they get down into that double digits, that becomes scary for Virginia.
They don't have the
firepower to be able to get back in a hurry, and they're not shooting the ball well enough to do it either.
So they need stops, and they get one. Cross turns it over, so Virginia will take it over.
The best way to get back in the game is on the defensive end on getting stops. You got to get stops, you got to score, and then get stops again.
Turnover number 6 for SMU. Brody has not scored tonight. McNeely has not made a 3-point field goal. Here's Sharma. Sharma working with Buchanan. Now back to McNeely. Once again, the shot clock winding down for Virginia, down to 5. Great feed and the finish by Buchanan. Rodey with the dish.
Really good ball movement. They were patient. Got dribble penetration. Great cut by Buchanan. Great find by Rodey.
Second assist for Rodey. And a foul called on Sharma for Virginia. Virginia bench not very happy with it. I think Ron Sanchez is stepping out towards midcourt to play peacemaker because his bench was making a little noise.
Yeah, that's a foul. Sharma had both hands on the drive there. That's a point of emphasis. Anytime you put both hands on a dribbler, it should be automatically called. Good call by the official.
Oquendo on the floor for SMU. Here he is. Oquendo on the drive, leans in on Sharma, but he gets called for a travel. Turnover SMU.
SMU is using the ball screen to throw it back. In basketball terminology, they call it the shake man. From the weak side, he lifts up. And that's what Oquendo's doing, is shaking up, is coming up, lifting up, and he's, before he even catches the ball, he's just going before the catch and attacking downhill as the ball's coming to him. He's explosive, powerful, and a tremendous athlete.
Speaking of explosive and powerful, that's Saunders, but he can't get it to go. And back the other way quickly. How else would he do it? Is Boopy. Good job by Buchanan. Little thing. Not going to show up on the stat sheet, but that's a positive.
He's making plays. He's being an energy giver. You know, you hear a lot of the terminology. You're either an energy taker or you're an energy giver. And what he's doing with his minutes, he's right now been the MVP for Virginia, based on his play and his energy and his positive contributions that don't even show up in the box score right now.
Robinson on the floor here. It won't be a very long trip to the bench, I would think, for Buchanan. Immediate timeout coming up in just a little bit. Buy him a little time. Another turnover for SMU. They're piling up the turnover, so Andy Enfield's going to go Into his bench, he'll bring B.J. Edwards Jr. back on the floor. Miller's going to get a rest. Cross checks out. Troyer is on. Ambrose Hilton is on as well for SMU.
Neither team has, and partly based on how they're shooting it, Eric, in the first half, has not even shot a three in his half in the first 8 minutes. Part of that is because I don't think they knew they weren't going to shoot. They haven't shot the ball well in the first half.
1-3. SMU's 1 for 3. Harris made that three.
That's right. Yeah. You're right. He
but
did make a three.
Virginia has not attempted a three.
Virginia has not attempted a three. Yeah.
Knocked out of bounds.
But you're right. Harris made the three. But both teams in the first half shot very poorly. And I'm thinking, if I'm either one of those coaches in the halftime, we're saying, guys, we can't keep just shooting. We've got to keep attacking the paint. And if you're SMU, you have kicked their butt in the paint. Let's keep attacking the paint and keep making that mark. Good catch. That's why you're a pro. You caught me on that miss.
McNeely is just USC before taking over at SMU. He's been following it very closely. Where he used to live, Manhattan Beach area, is fine, but obviously very concerned about how it's impacting so many people that he came in contact with during his 11 years in the Los Angeles area, as we've all been watching from a distance. Out of the media timeout, 11.5 to go now here in the second half. SMU with possession, 10 to shoot. Harris trying to break down Saunders off the dribble.
They have Day Ames out of the game, so Rhodey is playing their point guard spot right now. It's not his game as a creator. But right off of I say that, he gets to the paint, kicks it one more, and finds Sharma for an open three.
Three-point woes continue, though, for Virginia. They have missed their last 6 three-point attempts. They're 3 for 17 tonight. That one drops in. Good work done again by Keon Ambrose Hilton.
Yeah, Ambrose Hilton just came straight down the paint there in transition. McNeely tried to pick him up because they were caught off guard on the mismatch. They were cross-matched, and he was able to get a good post seal and a good find.
Here's Rhodey. Rhodey threw it up, gets it back. No reset on the shot clock. Swing it over to Sharma. Sharma fade away, no good. And here comes Edwards. Edwards. Turn it over. Rhodey drops it off. Sharma steps into a three. Another miss. One and done, and a rebound for SMU.
Eric, as a coach, when a guy like Sharma gets those open threes and misses them, like, that's what you're in there for. You got to make those. And those things can be demoralizing internally from the coaching standpoint, because you know what he's in there for a job to do. It's kind of like a field goal kicker. You want to make the field goal attempts. You've got to make these threes. That's your #1 job.
Virginia's fortunate because SMU hasn't been able to get things going, and you can see now Ron Sanchez has to get his guys that have been connected the best on the offensive end on the floor right now. And that's, even though McNeely's struggling, things flow through him, but we've talked quite a bit about Buchanan. He's coming into the game. Kofi is coming into the game right now for Virginia. Just feel like game's on the line right now. As you've said before, 6-point game doesn't feel like a big deficit, but we're closing in on 9 minutes, and Virginia just can't fall too far behind because they just don't have the ability to close the gap if it gets too wide.
They've got to keep it within striking distance the best they can. And on the other hand, for SMU, they don't want to let Virginia continue to hang around, because, you know, it gets into that mold where Virginia starts getting confident. They hit a couple of shots here or there, and then it becomes a different type of game because of the possessions, and the pace of play is favoring Virginia.
McNeely, lid continues to be on the basket for McNeely tonight. 1 for 8 from the field. Oquendo. Kofi slowed him down. Virginia digging in on defense inside of 9 minutes to play here in the second half. Edwards weaving through traffic for 2.
2 more points in the paint. That's where SMU has lived tonight. They have not shot the 3 ball well, but they have lived in the paint and have dominated that area.
34 of their 41 points in the paint tonight. This is the largest lead for the Mustangs. And a foul is going to be called on Ambrose Hilton.
Good teams find ways to score when you're not shooting the ball well. And a lot of that offensive rebounding, attacking the paint, creating turnovers to get scoring opportunities, getting to the free throw line. SMU's ability tonight to score in the paint, even though they're not making threes and they're a very good three-point shooting team, those are signs of what a good basketball team does.
Another three-pointer miss. Frustration on the face of Rode as he turns around. 5-minute scoring drought right now for Virginia. And SMU, they've struggled to take care of the basketball at times here in the second half. That's helping to keep this a single-digit deficit right now for Virginia. Now Day-Day Ames will come in with 8:07 to go in the second half.
Eric, because of Virginia's lack of firepower to put a bunch of points on the board, then being 3 for 20 from 3 just puts so much pressure in other areas of the game because nothing gets loosened up.
Buchanan with the finish and the foul.
In the ACC, so for them, they've been very fortunate on that.
Buchanan finishes off the three-point play, so he has 9 to lead Virginia in scoring. Inside of 8 minutes to play in the second half. 5-point game. SMU in front, their largest lead 8.
Here comes the double. Big to big.
Open look, Oquendo, no. Buchanan with the rebound. That's his 8th. Kofi. Sharma. Virginia is 3 for 20 from outside the three-point line. Can Sharma turn their fortunes? Not this time.
He got a really good look. Again, a short roll by Buchanan, and he found Sharma open 3 in the corner. Again, that's Sharma's job. He's got to put those in. He's had some really good looks. That's what he's in the game for, is to make those open threes.
Here's Cross, who's had a quiet day, picked up 2 early fouls. Looking to make something happen. Miller grabs it, 5 to shoot. Miller on the turnaround, no, and Sharma's got the rebound. Well, Virginia keeps getting stops. Can they score on this end is the question as we approach 6.5 to play. McNeely has it taken away from behind by B.J. Edwards. And the foul is going to be called on Edwards. No, McNeely is called for the foul. I saw the reaction from Andy Enfield, the SMU bench. They weren't happy, but then the call, 2 ones went up, and that's McNeely, number 11.
And you can just see here his lack of ball security. He wasn't tough with the ball. He just was nonchalant. Look, he's nonchalant with it. And then what happens is Edwards just gets in there, and it's just tougher than McNeely on that particular play, and McNeely ends up getting the foul. McNeely has not played well this evening.
Edwards, 40 steals for the season. That's second in the ACC, so you know he's going to be all over the ball. And McNeely didn't protect it, like you said, Josh. But again, SMU comes up empty on the other end.
And I don't know if Coach Enfield's happy with some of the previous possessions, including that one, shot selection, based on the time and score of the game right now.
Ames slams on the brakes in front of the 7-footer. Here's McNeely on the double pump. That won't drop, but he will go to the free throw line.
If you notice there again, Day-Day Ames being able to get to the paint to create. He gets to the paint. He's able to then use his pivot foot, plays off of his 2 feet, plays off of his pivot. McNeely finds behind, relocates. Day-Day finds him, and then McNeely can re-attack the closeout, which is one of the hardest things to guard in college basketball is closeouts.
A reminder, coming up on Saturday, ACC Network basketball tripleheader. Virginia Tech and Wake Forest get it started at 2 Eastern. Then it's Notre Dame and Syracuse, and Cal and NC State all Saturday on ACC Network. Well, it's helped a little bit here tonight that Virginia is a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Can they continue to get stops? It's now a 1-possession game inside of 6 minutes to go. crowd starts to get a little louder here at JPJ. Oquendo is fouled on his take to the basket.
If you watch Oquendo, everything he does is just, and I've said it a few times, it's not catch the ball, hold, and go. He literally, as the ball's in his air, is coming to him in the air, he's literally going towards the ball in movement, catching it while he's already in his movement. And that's based on his athleticism, his explosiveness, his first step. He becomes really, really hard to guard based on his power to get downhill and really conquer the paint.
7th team foul on Virginia as Sharma picks up his second personal. Oquendo makes the front end of the 101. Not a lot of trips to the line for SMU tonight. Come to expect that against the Virginia team that just does not foul a lot. 5-point lead. McNeely. Going to give him the benefit of the doubt that's saying SMU got a piece of that one, but he has had a tough night.
Tough night's an understatement. And again, for Virginia to hang around is because Buchanan has been able to give him really good minutes, and SMU hasn't shot the three ball well. But for Virginia to win, McNeely's going to have to make a three at some point here.
Oquendo with a little contortion in the lane to get the shot off. He's got 6, and it's back to a 7-point advantage with 5 minutes to go in the second half.
Virginia came with the double big to big, and Cement was able to find the cutter. Oquendo didn't stand. Again, moving without the ball, cutting when the ball's down at the block, the cutter, and good find and pass there by Cement.
Foul on Edwards. That's his 3rd personal foul. McNeely will head to the bench as Rhodey comes back on. Virginia is 3 for 22 from outside the three-point line. They are 0 for 7 in the second half. Came in at 37%, 3rd in the ACC, making on average 8 a game. Kofi for Rhodey, deep 3. That won't drop. Kofi kept it alive into the hands of Buchanan. Second chance for Virginia. "12 straight misses from beyond the arc for Virginia. On the drive, the floater is good from Rhodey.
Cut into the paint, great find by Cement, but the hands were down by Kofi, which allowed Cement to have a direct line strike on that pass.
Four minutes to go. Edwards, 5 on the shot clock. Edwards, high arcing 3, won't drop, and a rebound for Kofi.
I don't think that was a shot that Coach Enfield wanted out of that timeout there. A contested 3.
Kofi gets it to drop. So a contested 3, the miss by SMU, and then Kofi scores on the other end to bring it back to a one-possession game again here in Charlottesville. Harris kicked across. Cross trying to work on Buchanan. Buchanan with the block.
He has been awesome with 8 exclamation points the way he's played this game. He's been incredible. Virginia's MVP in this game to this point, even though they're still down by 3, but he has allowed him to keep in the game.
Sharma! Virginia
got ourselves tie ball game.
Largest lead for SMU, 8 this half.
Yeah.
So they've been up by as many as 8 points. They get Miller back on the floor here for the final 2:45. Edwards thrown away. Turnover, SMU out of the timeout. Kofi into the hands of Buchanan. Why not? He's been the glue guy for this team. Now Rhodey. Sharma uses the screen. Can't get the 3, but who's got the rebound? Who else? Blake Buchanan and a second chance here for Virginia.
Unbelievable. It just out-efforted cement on that possession. Just wanted it more.
Rohde's got to feed him here. Can't get it. Cross has the rebound. And a foul called by Kofi in the backcourt. That'll be his third personal. 8th team foul on Virginia. So 1-1 coming for SMU.
Not a smart play there by Kofi to foul 94 feet away from the basket when the score is tied. Just no need for that. He should have just got back, get back in transition defense, build a wall, but you're putting up a good free throw shooter on the free throw line. Not a smart play there by Kofi.
Cross at 69%. He has not scored. And he still has it.
Great foul by Kofi. I said it. It's a great foul.
You're walking that one back. I can sense it. 1:45 to go. And a foul's going to be called on SMU. And that's going to be Harris who gets called for the foul. And that will be team foul number 7 on SMU. So now 1-on-1 for Virginia. They're 7 for 7 from the line tonight. Kofi's first trip coming up. Rohde's first trip coming up, I beg your pardon. Virginia has led for a grand total of 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Kofi with the offensive rebound and a jump ball possession arrow, SMU.
The fans are booing. Kofi doesn't like it, but it was the right call. I thought there wasn't a foul. It was a jump ball situation. Both hands on the ball. But the bottom line is Virginia made 1 of 2, so they've got the lead. Let's see what SMU runs here. They're going to keep the ball in Miller's hands.
Miller threw it away. Threw it right to Rohde. The lob for Buchanan. SMU with the basketball. Miller. Defended by Rohde. Miller. What a take, but it won't drop it. Buchanan adds to his rebound total. That's 13. No rush here for Virginia. Kofi. 1 minute to go for McNeely. Kofi, 7 to shoot. He will shoot. Won't drop. Buchanan rips down another one. Here's McNeely. Shot clock at 7. Sharma takes a peek. Oh, that's a costly foul for us. Sharma has not been at the line very much this year, but he's delivering when it counts. 1 for 2 on the season, and he knocks down the first to put Virginia on top by 4.
If SMU goes on to lose this game,
Virginia will try to slow things down here for SMU as they bring it across half court inside of 30 to go. Kick to the corner. Edwards for 3. He's got it. That ends the 12-0 Virginia run, and now some pressure from SMU with 25 seconds to go. On McNeely. Rohde in the backcourt. Trouble deflected. Sharma comes up to get it. Sharma gets fouled. Is it going to be a traveling violation or a foul called? The foul was called. Sharma at the free throw line makes the front end. That was team foul number 9 on SMU.
that could be a game-saving play by what Sharma did by running through the ball, not waiting for it on a loose.
Because it's a 2-possession game. Here's Boopy Miller. Miller on the drive. Kofi stands his ground. Miller, deep 3 is good. SMU's not done yet. A reminder, no timeouts remaining for Virginia. 9.1 to go. McNeely to Murray. Murray in the backcourt. Well, Murray comes comes up well short on the first. One timeout remaining for SMU. They'll get crossed back into the game. A lot of time on the clock. 7.4. With Miller's speed, he'll be in the front court in a blink.
If they make this, look for Andy Enfield to get to the half court and call timeout and set up the side out of bounds play.
It's a miss. Harris with the push into the front inbound, and here we go. No timeouts remaining for SMU. Here's Miller. Miller throws it up. It's good! It's good! It beats the buzzer, and SMU wins in Charlottesville. They will make it official at the monitor, but this is certainly a game winner for SMU on the road, and it's Boopy Miller who comes through.
They're going to look at it, but I think it was all good. But Miller got a running start on the speed.
The field goal successful, three-point shot will be .4 on the game clock. Virginia can run the baseline.
Coach Enfield put Miller at the top of the key on the other side, and then you can see him running in here, catches it. It was actually pretty good defense by Buchanan, but he just hit a tough shot.
All right, so .4 is critical. The catch is it's 94 feet away from the basketball.
And he can run the baseline.
And you can run the baseline. .4, you can still catch. .4, you can catch and shoot. .3 is a tap only. No one is in front of the inbounds passer, Rhodey, so he'll have a clear look down court. 2-point lead for SMU. Rhodey throws. Kofi turns and throws at the